Our princess looks very safe in her magical grove. We can see a swirl in the top right corner of the card, and it's quite far away in the distance. It could be a tornado, a distant threat that she is well protected from. There are trees and also mountains behind her, confirming this idea of stability and security in this card. And there is a very sturdy tree supporting her back, and she is also wrapped in what looks like a giant sheepskin. We get a feeling here that she is exactly where she wants to be. She has found her place on Earth, and now she is ready to close the cycle of minor arcana, but at the same time create a new beginning. Let's hear how Crowley describes her in the Book of Thoth. The Princess of Discs, the last of the court cards, represents the earthy part of Earth. She is consequently on the brink of transfiguration. She is strong and beautiful, with an expression of intense brooding, as if about to become aware of secret wonder. Hello, my name is Beata. Welcome to another episode of my Thought series. In this one, we are talking about the Princess of Discs. If you find my videos valuable, you can show your support by becoming a patron or with a one-time donation through PayPal. All links are in the video description below. Thank you very much for considering this. Your support allows me to continue making these videos for you. Okay, let's get back to the Princess of Discs now. Let's start with discussing her elemental attribution mentioned in the quote. As a princess, she is primarily connected with the element of earth. She is also in the suit of discs, so her secondary element is earth as well. And because she is the final manifestation of the final element, she immediately invites change. The cycle needs to be renewed. The energy needs to come back to the beginning. Our princess is the throne of the Ace of Discs, which means that it's through her that the energy of the Ace can manifest into the world. Let's see what more can Crowley tell us about her. Her crest is the head of the ram, and her scepter descends into the earth. There, its head becomes a diamond, the precious stone of Keter, thus symbolizing the birth of the highest and purest light in the deepest and darkest of the elements. She stands within a grove of sacred trees before an altar suggesting a wheat sheaf, for she is a priestess of Demeter. She bears within her body the secret of the future. Her sublimity is further emphasized by the disc which she bears, for in the center thereof is the Chinese ideogram denoting the twin spiral force of creation in perfect equilibrium. From this is born the rose of Isis, the great fertile mother. In heraldry, a ram is a symbol of strength and perseverance, and she holds a scepter with the diamond of Keter in her hand, so we can see that she is quite a powerful figure. And her scepter is directed into the earth, showing us that it is her who renews the cycle, because the energy is flowing through her into this new manifestation. She is in a grove of sacred trees, but the trees look quite bare here, and there are no leaves, and this suggests that it might be the beginning of winter. The cycle of nature ends, the energy draws down into the roots to preserve life until it can flourish again in spring. And we can see this in the roots of the trees that look very much alive and glowing with energy. So the renewal of the cycle is not instantaneous. We still need to go through the gestation period. And that's why Crowley says our princess bears within her body the secret of the future. As nature is getting ready to preserve life until spring, so our princess will hold the energy within until the next cycle can begin. And we can see that our princess is pregnant, And there is an interesting quote about this fact from one of Lady Frida Harris's letters to Aleister Crowley. "The princess is now on the stocks. I wish she would not insist on being pregnant. She just will, so now I have let her get on with it. She chatters to me about being mixed up with the Virgin Mary." And we can understand why Princess of Discs wouldn't like to be mixed up with Virgin Mary, who is presented to us as having almost no agency in her life. She is a heavily degraded version of older female goddesses with very little power of her own. And to see exactly what power our princess possesses, we need to start by having a look at her altar. We have 7 trees in the background, and there are 7 stalks of wheat engraved on her altar. And this number points us to the 7th Sephira Netzach, associated with Venus. And this is only one of the female goddesses that we will see in this card. The altar of our princess suggests a wheat sheaf, because she is a priestess of Demeter. Demeter is the Greek goddess of harvest, agriculture, and the fertility of earth. One of her titles is also Thesmophoros, which means the bringer of divine order. So she also presides over the sacred law and the cycle of life and death. It's Demeter who controls the cycle of nature. Her daughter Kore was kidnapped by Hades, the god of the underworld, who made her his wife. And she comes back for the first time from the underworld to see her mother as Persephone, the queen of the underworld. And when they are together, nature comes back to life after winter and gives us the abundance of harvest. When Persephone descends into the underworld again to be with her husband, Demeter puts nature to sleep, and we have to wait for her to be reunited with her daughter to see abundance come back into our world. Demeter, together with her daughter Persephone, are at the center of Eleusinian mysteries, the most famous of the secret religious rites of ancient Greece. And this was a festival combined with initiation into the mysteries, and it was presided over by the high priestess of Demeter. And the priestess of Demeter was one of the highest religious offices in Athens, and this is likely the oldest type of priesthood in this city. So the woman holding this title was a very powerful figure. And the power of our princess is even further emphasized by the disc that she holds in her left hand. There is a yin and yang symbol in the middle, and 3 circles of 12 petals each surrounding it. And Crowley calls it the Rose of Isis. And we will talk about Isis in just a moment, but first let's have a look at the number of petals here. They are arranged in 3 sets of 12, and we know that both 12 and 36 are numbers symbolizing completion. We have 12 signs of the zodiac, 12 Olympians, the main gods of ancient Greece. There are 12 tribes of Israel, and day and night are both 12 hours long. So 12 symbolizes completion by offering 12 different qualities that together form one system. We have 36 decans, and a full circle has 360 degrees. In Jewish tradition, there are always 36 righteous men alive in the world, and it's only thanks to them and their good deeds that the world is allowed to continue to exist. Also, according to the Midrash, and this is a critical explanation or interpretation of the Bible, the light created by God on the first day of creation was shining for exactly 36 hours, and after that, it was replaced by the light of the sun. And there is also a Maori legend about the creation of mankind by the god Tane, and it says that 36 gods took part in assembling the parts of the first human before Tane breathed life into her. So we see that 36 is a number of completion in a more mystical sense. We need 36 parts of one system to create and sustain life. And the ecliptic, so the part of the sky where we observe the movement of the planets, is divided both into 12 but also into 36 parts, or 360 degrees. So we see that the disk of our princess, with the twin spiral force of creation in perfect equilibrium in the center and 36 petals surrounding it, shows us that she has everything that is needed both to create but also to sustain and organize life. And now let's look at why Crowley mentions Isis here. Isis is a mother goddess. She was seen as the divine mother of a pharaoh in ancient Egypt. And she is both the sister and the wife of Osiris and a mother of Horus. Motherhood was a very important aspect of her story, and she is said to have traveled among humans with her child Horus in order to protect him from her brother Set. And she was very compassionate and kind. She was connected with healing and also with protecting souls in the afterlife. Isis was probably the most complex of all of the deities in ancient Egypt, because so many female deities were merged with her throughout history. And in the end, it looks like she encompasses all feminine divine powers in the world. Let's listen to another quote now, and this one will tell us about the character of our princess and also explain why we have such powerful female goddesses here. The characteristics of an individual signified by this card are too various to enumerate. One must summarize by saying that she is womanhood in its ultimate projection. She contains all the characteristics of woman, and it would depend entirely upon the influences to which she is subjected, whether one or another becomes manifest. So we see here that our princess is the definition of womanhood in all its aspects, and we can say then that she is like Isis. And we can also see the meter here, the outside influence that decides what part of her character manifests is her daughter. When they are together, she is happy and generous, but when they are apart, it's like she is in mourning. And let's listen to another part of that quote. In every case, her attributes will be pure in themselves and not necessarily connected with any other attributes, which in the normal way one regards as symbolic. In one sense, then, her general reputation will be of bewildering inconsistency. It's rather like a lottery wheel from which the extraction of any number does not predict or influence the result of any subsequent operation. And we might see this as being scattered, but we need to remember that this is the exact state of being that is needed to achieve enlightenment. We need to be open to everything that is happening and hold no judgment for the events or people in our life. And this is confirmed in the last part of the quote. The fruit of the philosophy of Thelema is enjoyed rare, ripe, nourishing and vitalizing at its highest and fullest in this meditation. For to the adept, every turn of the wheel is equally probable and equally a prize, for every event is a play of Nuit. And we have here a mention of another very powerful goddess, Nuit, the Egyptian goddess of the sky. And she is one of the oldest deities of Egypt. This is the mother of Isis. And she is also a goddess of stars, cosmos, astronomy, the universe, and mothers. Crowley calls every event a play of Nuit because as the goddess of the whole universe, she makes everything within it possible. Every single thing is part of the perfectly functioning system that she sustains. So the meditation of this card will allow us to enjoy the philosophy of Telema in its richest form. We are in the last stage of minor arcana, but this is also where we all begin our journey. The pure energy travels from the element of fire through water and air to earth. But we, as mortal humans, are in the element of earth, so we need to make the journey in the opposite direction. And to make our journey, we need to be open to all possibilities, just like our princess. And she is able to channel all of the energy through her, and she is both at the end and at the beginning of a path. Now I'm going to tell you a bit about how to interpret this card in divination. The Princess of Discs shows us safety, but also new possibility, and this is the fulfillment of our true will. As a person, she is kind and generous. She could be a person who has their own quiet power. She's quite careful and she will be very caring for others, but she can also be courageous and persevering. And this card very often shows us that we are looking for a safe space for ourselves, somewhere where we would be able to feel at home. In work-related readings, this card can show that the workplace we are asking about will be a good fit for us. This is not a card that's overly focused on work, like the other cards in this suit, but if it shows an employee, it will still be a very valuable person in the team. Probably someone who just does their job really well, helps out others, but stays quite humble. This is not someone who will be chasing pay rises and promotions. And in terms of jobs that our princess would be good at, we can definitely see her as a stay-at-home full-time mom. She could also work as a nurse or a midwife. Because she is so closely connected to nature, we can say that she could be a witch, someone who helps out their community by healing, offering advice, and preparing herbal medicine. In relationships, this card shows someone who really wants a family and a settled life. This is a woman who knows what she wants, and she is not into fleeting romance. She is interested in someone who can provide her stability. If the Princess of Discs shows up in your reading as advice, it will be a very good sign that you will be able to achieve what you want. Be persistent in working towards your goal, but don't draw too much attention to yourself. Just keep on doing what you're doing. As an obstacle, on the other hand, this card will be showing you that your approach is too soft and too kind. Maybe you are trying not to upset people, but in this case, you need to be more flamboyant and really make sure that people notice you. Among movie characters who fulfill this archetype, we can mention Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. And she is very much influenced by her environment, and it feels like throughout her life she is constantly trying to find a place for herself, sometimes trying to fit into situations that turn out to be quite different than she initially imagined. And she ends up where she started, in Winterfell, but in the end, she claims the power that she didn't realize she had in the beginning. And we can also mention here Lilu from Fifth Element, and she is seemingly unaware of the great power that she holds within, and wanders through all of the events with a wide-eyed innocence and kindness. And we can also add Éowyn from The Lord of the Rings to this list. She is quite a delicate and kind woman when we meet her, but we quickly find out that she can be really persistent in following her will. And in the end, her courage and perseverance changes the outcome of the battle. And if you remember, she is able to achieve this not in spite of, but precisely because she is a woman. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to like the video, leave a comment, and of course subscribe to my channel. I would like to thank everyone who is already supporting the channel. I appreciate your help very much. And as always, if you find my videos valuable, you can show your support by becoming a patron or with a one-time donation through PayPal. All links are in the video description below. Thank you very much for considering this. Your support allows me to continue making these videos for you. In the next episode, we will look at an example of how we read cards together in a spread. Once again, thank you all for today, and I will see you in the next video very soon. Thank you. Bye.